Hello students, today let's discuss about the next topic, that is infertility, right? Infertility. Now in the last class we discussed about MTPs as well as sexually transmitted diseases. Now today let us discuss about infertility. Now this is a common term nowadays. What is infertility? Infertility is the inability of the couple to produce children. Inability of the couple to produce children in spite of unprotected sexual cohabitation. Once again I will repeat, infertility can be defined as the inability, don't write it as ability, inability of the couple to produce children, or we can say to produce children in spite of unprotected sexual cohabitation. So hope you understood what is infertility. Means a couple is not able to have children. In spite of their sexual life, they are not able to have children. There are various reasons for that. Some of the reasons, it may be physical reasons. Physical reasons means some problem with their sex organs, okay, or some diseases. Sometimes it may be congenital, by birth. By birth there will be some abnormality in the genital organs or the sex organs due to which they are not able to have children. Third one, diseases. Fourth one, drugs. Fifth one, immunological or sometimes even psychological. Okay, so what is infertility? Definition for infertility I already told you. What is that? It is the inability of the couple to have children in spite of unprotected sexual cohabitation. And what are the reasons for infertility? The reasons can be physical. First one is physical. Second one, congenital, means by birth. Third one, psychological, right? Or it can be due to the drugs which they take for some other diseases, or sometimes immunological. So these are some of the reasons: physical, congenital, drugs, psychological or immunological. Sometimes even diseases also may lead to infertility. Hope it's clear? Right. Now, if this couple are unable to produce their children, then is there any other technique which can be used so that they can have children? So in order to assist the couples, that is infertile couples, to have children, there are certain technologies, and those technologies are called as assisted reproductive technologies. Assisted reproductive techniques. Assisted reproductive techniques or technologies. So also the short form of that is ART. A-R-T, ART. Assisted reproductive techniques or technologies. Now today's class will be discussing about the various assisted reproductive technologies. There are different assisted reproductive technologies. The first one is IVF. Very, very important from examination point of view. Every year you get a 5-mark question from this topic. Okay, assisted, explain any two methods of ART, or what is IVF, or what is SIFT, what is GIFT, and so on. Okay, so the first technique is IVF. The full form is in vitro fertilization. What is that? In vitro fertilization. Now what is in vitro fertilization? One thing is very clear: fertilization outside the body. Normally fertilization takes place inside the female reproductive system, isn't it? We have studied that. But if the couple, that is the husband and wife, if they are unable to reproduce, is having this fertilization done outside the body. Outside the body means inside a laboratory, right? Under sterile conditions. And such a technique is called as in vitro fertilization. So fertilization outside the body. So for that, how can we do this fertilization outside the body? For this we need a male gamete and a female gamete. Which is the male gamete? Sperm, and the female gamete is ovum. So what we have to do? First we have to take the ovum. So for that, the doctor has to find out exactly at what time the ovum will be released out. It's not that easy as we say. Okay, so the time when the ovum comes out, how does the ovum comes out? Ovum comes out by the rupture of the Graafian follicle. So that ovum, as soon as it is released out from the ovary, it has to be taken out of the body. It is taken out with the help of certain specialized techniques. Okay, now the same way sperms also have to be taken out. So the sperm and the ovum, either of the husband and wife or of the donors. Okay, so the sperm and the ovum is taken out, and then they are allowed to undergo fusion under laboratory conditions. Hope it's clear? Inside a laboratory, the sperm and the ovum is allowed to fuse. As a result of that, what happens? A zygote will be formed. This is called as in vitro fertilization, or it is also called as test tube baby program. You must have heard about this test tube baby, right? It's not that baby is growing inside the test tube. It is only fertilization which takes place inside the test tube or inside petri dishes under laboratory conditions. After the formation of zygote, now what happens? We have studied in that chapter fertilization. After formation of zygote, what is the next step? The zygote starts undergoing division. Which kind of division? Mitotic division, called as cleavage, isn't it? So two cells, first one diploid cell, that is a zygote, divides into 2 cells, then into 4 cells, then into 8 cells, then into 16 cells, and then so on. And when it is in the 8 to 16 cell stage, we call that structure as a morula, isn't it? Then, and the cells so formed, they are called as blastomeres. Hope you remember all these names, right? It's all related. Okay, so this 8 to 16 cell stage. So after the formation of the zygote, the doctors allow the zygote to undergo division in the lab itself, okay, to a certain number of cells. Now, if the zygote, once a zygote develops 8-celled stage, that is a morula stage, then the morula is introduced back into the fallopian tube of the female. Female in the sense either the wife or the surrogate mother. Okay, so what is done? Fertilization, that is sperm is collected, ovum is collected, then they are allowed to fuse in the laboratory, zygote will be formed, zygote will be allowed to undergo division, and when it reaches an 8-celled stage, it can be then introduced back into the fallopian tube of the lady, that is a female. Okay, and this, if it is introduced into the fallopian tube at the 8-celled stage, we call that technique as ZIFT. What is that? ZIFT. Z-I-F-T. Full form is zygote intra-fallopian transfer. What is that? Zygote intra-fallopian transfer. So what is zygote intra-fallopian transfer? It is nothing but after the sperm and the ovum, sperm from the husband or the donor and the ovum from the wife or the donor is taken out, allowed to fuse under laboratory conditions, and a zygote will be formed, and this zygote is then allowed to undergo division where in the laboratory itself, and when it reaches an 8-cell stage, then this zygote with that is a morula, first embryonic stage, that is called as a morula. It can be introduced back into the fallopian tube of the female, and that technique is called as zygote intra-fallopian transfer. Hope it's clear. So that is ZIFT. Now suppose the zygote completes 8-cell stage and it goes on to the next stage, that is there are 16 cells or 32 cells. Okay, so zygote with more than 8 blastomeres cannot be implanted or cannot be introduced through the fallopian tube. It has to be introduced into the uterus directly through the the vagina, and that process is called as intrauterine transfer or IUT. What is that? Intrauterine transfer. Hope it's clear. Okay, so three techniques we have seen in this. Okay, so this is called as IVF. ET means embryo transfer. So embryo transfer can be done either as SIFT or as IUT. So what is SIFT? Zygote intrafallopian transfer, and IUT is intrauterine transfer. Okay, so let me explain once again what is IVF ET. IVF full form is in vitro fertilization embryo transfer. Now what does it mean? Those couple who are unable or infertile, those couple who are infertile, for them they can follow this technique IVF, that is in vitro fertilization followed by embryo transfer. And what is done? This is a technique which is done outside the body. How is it done? The sperm from the husband or the donor and the ovum from the wife or the donor is taken out and then allowed to fuse under laboratory conditions, okay, resulting in the formation of a zygote, right? That is IVF, fertilization takes place. After the formation of zygote, it is allowed to undergo mitotic division in the lab itself, okay. Now this embryo at the stage zygote, at the stage of 8 cells, when if it is introduced into the fallopian tube, we call that technique as SIFT, that is zygote intrafallopian transfer. Okay, now if the zygote develops more than 8 cells, if there are more than 8 blastomeres, the cells formed inside the zygote as a result of cleavage, they are called as blastomeres. So these, if the zygote is having more than 8 cells, then they are transferred into the uterus directly. It cannot be transferred into the fallopian tube, we know that. So because from the morula stage it has to come down to the uterus and then get implanted. So if the zygote has more than 8 cells, then it is then directly administered into the uterus, and that is called as IUT, that is intrauterine transfer. And then what happens if it is introduced? Definitely it will go and get implanted on the uterine wall, and further development of the fetus takes place in the female's reproductive system or female uterus. Hope it's clear. So this is IVF ET, SIFT and IUT. Now there is one more technique which is called as, so the next technique that we have to discuss is GIFT. So we already discussed about IVF ET, we discussed about SIFT, and we also discussed about IUT. Now there is another technique by name GIFT. Now here the problem is with the female, that is the wife. Okay, she cannot produce ovum. Her ovary is defective. Okay, maybe because of various reasons. If the female or the wife cannot produce ovum, okay, but her uterus is okay. There is no problem with the uterus. Only problem is with the ovary. Okay, so ovum will not be produced. So under such circumstances, the wife can receive the ovum from another female who is called as a donor. Hope you got it. So suppose after marriage, if there is some problem with the ovary of the wife and she is not able to produce ovum, under such circumstances, she can receive the ovum from another lady, right, who is a donor. So it won't be her ovum, but it will be of somebody else. And this ovum can be introduced into the fallopian tube of the wife. Okay, so ovum is from the donor and it is introduced into the fallopian tube of the wife. Okay, and then, or the recipient, and then sperms, as natural insemination takes place, the sperms goes and fuse with the ovum which is received from the donor. So fertilization takes place where? Fertilization takes place within the body of the female. The only problem is ovum is not hers, ovum is from a donor. Okay, and what happens as normal? The fertilization takes place in the fallopian tube. After that, zygote will be formed. Division takes place. Zygote slowly comes down, gets implanted onto the uterine wall, and then development of the fetus takes place. So this technique is called as gift. Okay, so what is gift? Gamete. G stands for gamete. Intra-fallopian transfer. Be very careful. I stands for intra. I-N-T-R-A. It is not inter. Gamete, intra-fallopian transfer. Hope it's clear. So what is the definition for that, or how can you explain this? This can be explained. Transfer of ovum collected from a donor into the fallopian tube of another female who cannot produce one, but can provide suitable environment for the development and growth, suitable environment for fertilization and for the development of the fetus. So the only problem is what? The ovum will not be hers, ovum will be somebody else's, but the baby will be developing inside your womb itself. Okay, so that is called as gift. Okay, another technique is ICSI. Now what is ICSI? This is intracytoplasmic sperm injection. What is that? Intracytoplasmic sperm injection. Now what is that? This is another art technique or assisted reproductive technology. This is done. In this case, what is done is embryo will be formed inside the laboratory again. And here the sperm from the donor or the husband will be directly injected into the cytoplasm of the ovum. Hope it's clear. The sperm will be directly injected into the cytoplasm of the ovum so that fusion takes place and the zygote will be formed. This also has to be done inside a laboratory under sterile conditions. Okay, so that is the definition for ICSI. Word is very clear. Intracytoplasmic sperm injection. So what is this intracytoplasmic sperm injection? It is the procedure to form an embryo in the laboratory in which the sperm is directly injected into the cytoplasm of the ovum. Hope it's clear? Right. Now, so we'll see the last technique, that is artificial insemination. You know what is insemination? Insemination is transfer of sperms into the female genital tract. That is called as insemination. Usually it takes place in a natural way. But under certain circumstances, if there is some problem with the husband, what happens is with the sperm, the process of ejaculation or the process of normal insemination, if it doesn't take place, what is done is the sperms of the husband or the donor can be collected artificially. It is collected outside the body, it is taken outside the body, and then it is artificially introduced into the vagina of the female. Instead of natural process, it is collected and then injected artificially. This is usually done in animals. Most of the cattle and all that use this technique of artificial insemination. So this method also can be used under certain circumstances where there is some dysfunction of the male genital organ. Okay, sperm production is there, but due to certain dysfunctioning of the genital organ, what happens is the sperms cannot be inseminated naturally. Under such circumstances, the sperms can be collected and then injected artificially into the vagina of the, sometimes into the vagina or directly into the uterus. If it is transferred into the uterus, we call that technique as IU, intrauterine insemination, IUI. Artificial insemination, under that comes IUI, intrauterine insemination. What is intrauterine insemination? That is the sperms collected from the donor or the husband is artificially transferred into the uterus. If it is transferred into the uterus, we call it as intrauterine insemination. If it is introduced into the vagina, we call it as artificial insemination. Hope it's clear? Now, this technique, that is which technique? The technique of this artificial insemination is used when the infertility is due to inability of the female to inseminate the female, or sometimes due to very low sperm counts. As I've told you, this technique, artificial insemination, is used if the problem is with the male partner or the husband. Okay, so it may be either due to low sperm counts or maybe due to some dysfunctioning of the genital organs. Is that clear? So hope you understood what is infertility and what are the different assisted reproductive technologies. Is it clear? Okay. Thank you.